He who has ears to hear, let him hear. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. If you listen hard enough, if you train your ears to really take notice, you might hear the sounds of that extraordinary week. So unplug your ears. Open your heart. See if you can catch the whispers of the Passion. The clip-clop of a donkey, the cheers of a downtrodden people, the happy shouts of children, the sounds of that palm procession are forever etched in the collective memory of Jesus' followers. We echo the day with our own cries of Hosanna and by waving our own palm branches. On that day long ago, the commotion annoyed some of the religious establishment. They asked Jesus to shut everyone up, but he replied, "If these folks were silent, the stones would shout out." Can you imagine what that would have sounded like? This meal sounds so ordinary, a meal like any other Passover meal. Everything is in place. But then the disciples heard words which they had never heard before, which they couldn't comprehend. "I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you, I will not eat it again until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God." Then he took a loaf of bread and broke it, and he gave it to them and said, "This is like my body, broken for you." And he took a cup of wine and gave it to them and said, "This is like my blood, poured out for you." I tell you, you could have heard a pin drop. Tears in the garden. The clang and clatter of soldiers and swords, armor and arms. A lone rooster. So much confusion, cacophony, shouting. These are not happy sounds. They are the noise of a people who are lost in sin and despair, who are blind to God in their midst, who are deaf to the good news. How quickly the sounds of the cheering masses turned into cries of "Crucify him!" How quickly Peter, the one who professed his undying loyalty to Jesus, turned into a blubbering fool, a double-tongued coward. It really shouldn't surprise us. Our own adoration and praise often proves to be merely superficial and shallow. We end up being faithless and disloyal. But that sound of the nail being hammered is the sound of Jesus' loyalty to us. The sounds of the crucifixion are the sounds of God refusing to give up on us. Finally, there is just silence. It is the emptiness of a world that has crucified love. The abyss opens wide between life and death. The silence is deafening.